We got you updated. This is Radio Imanzi News in English.
This is Radio Imanzi broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. The Minister of ICT and Innovation, Musoni Ingabire Paula, is attending the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, Spain. A school feeding week has been launched today in Rwanda in celebration of the African School Feeding Day, which takes place on March 1st every year. The International Finance Corporation has signed a $3.7 million loan agreement with 3B Group of hotels to support its construction of a 30-room mid-market safari camp in Akagera National Park. Dozens of people were killed in rocket strikes by Russian forces in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv today morning as talks on ending the 5-day-old conflict got underway. Now the news in detail. The Minister of ICT and Innovation, Musoni Ingabire Paula, is attending the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, Spain. Earlier today, she took part in the keynote address crossover at the ministerial program and highlighted Rwanda's efforts in increasing digital skills and mobile penetration. A school feeding week has been launched today in Rwanda ahead of the African School Feeding Day, which takes place on March 1st every year. The launch of the week started at Groupe Scolaire Ayabaraya in Kicukiro district. This year's theme is strengthening resilience in agri-food systems, health and social protection systems for the acceleration of human, social and economic capital development. As part of the long-term vision set out in Agenda 2063, the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union has adopted common African aspirations, drawing on the potential of its populations, in particular, a human capital, well-nourished citizens, and in good health, with a particular emphasis on women, adolescents, and children. Human capital is key for development as it leads to improved lives for individuals, higher earnings, and improved incomes for countries. Owners of property damaged by power line construction in Rwanda district have not yet received compensation for 7 years. The Deputy Mayor for Economic Development in Rwanda district, Ndabakuze Fulgence, says they are aware of the problem and the payments have been included in the national budget for 2022. Farmers in Kanjongo sector, Nyamasheke district, are concerned about monkeys from Kumbya destroying their crops. Those affected by the monkeys are farmers of Kigoyasel, who live near the tourist town of Kumbya, which is also home to the monkeys. They claim that since the monkeys were brought to Kumbya, the farmers have lost a lot of their crops, which are consumed by the monkeys. The executive secretary of the Kanjongo sector, Chimana Kanyogote Juvenal, said they were aware of the problem and had spoken with district authorities and the Rwanda Development Board to find a solution. The International Finance Corporation has signed a $3.7 million loan deal with a 3B Group of hotels to support its construction of a 30-room mid-market safari camp in Akagera National Park. The new project is expected to create more than 90 permanent jobs and more temporary jobs during the construction phase. Paul Muvunyi, chairman of 3B Group of Hotels, said they're expanding their operations to the eastern region to give guests a full experience of Rwanda's tourism offerings and diversity in terms of tourism locations. The partnership will create jobs and help strengthen Rwanda's tourism sector as it recovers from the pandemic. The International Finance Corporation invests in tourism because of its positive developmental impact on a range of local businesses.
Some items of international news on Radio Imanzi.
14 people are still missing following the crash of a Tanzanian plane. The light aircraft, registered in Tanzania and owned by a firm based in Zanzibar, crashed into the sea off the coast of Comoros. Captain Mohamed Mazrui, whose firm Fly Zanzibar Limited owned the aircraft, said the plane was leased to a Comorian carrier and was flying from the capital Moroni to Famboni City when the accident occurred. Reports said rescuers in the Comoros were looking for survivors, but their work was being hampered by unfavorable weather. Somalia's controversial oil deal with the United States oil firm is raising suspicions in Nairobi amid an unresolved maritime border dispute between the two countries. This came after Somalia's Petroleum and Mineral Resources Minister Abdirashid Ahmed announced the signing of 7 production sharing agreements with Coastline Exploration, a United States company. The company is focused on the East African oil scene to proceed with plans to explore the oil and gas potential of the many prospects and leads identified in its offshore blocks. In Nairobi, officials say they were concerned about Somalia giving out exploration contracts for resources in an area whose ownership is still in dispute. The police in Mexico are investigating reports of a deadly attack on a wake in a town in western Michoacan state. Footage shared by local media appears to show armed men lining a group of people who had been attending a wake at a private home, being made to stand up against a wall with their hands behind their heads and shooting at them execution style. The investigators say when they arrived at the scene, they found bullet casings and cleaning materials, but no bodies. A search for possible victims of the shooting is underway. Forensic experts say the crime scene appeared to have just been cleaned before their arrival, but that bullet holes in 2 cars and a motorcycle and multiple bullet casings strewn across the road suggested a shooting had taken place. Local security officials said they feared as many as 17 people could have been killed, but the prosecutor's office have not yet confirmed any deaths. Dozens of people were killed in rocket strikes by Russian forces in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv today morning as talks on ending the 5-day-old conflict got underway. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he was skeptical about the outcome of the talks but believed they were worth a try. The European Union is warning that over 7 million people could be displaced as a result of the conflict, with 500,000 people having already fled their homes. The Polish government has waived visa requirements for Ukrainians and is offering free transport in the country. Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi. The Rwanda Stock Exchange market report of today. Today's trading session recorded a total turnover of 445,948,700 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in 3 deals on the fixed income market. and 1,019,500 Rwandan francs from 9,000 shares traded in 3 deals on the equities market. Bralirwa closed the counter at 125 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 812,500 Rwandan francs from 6,500 shares traded in 1 deal. M10 Rwanda closed the counter at 180 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 126,000 Rwandan francs from 700 shares traded in 1 deal. I&M Bank counter closed at 45 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 81,000 Rwandan francs from 1,800 shares traded in 1 deal. Bank of Kigali closed the counter at 250 Rwandan francs closed. The currency market review of today. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.8 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 9 Rwandan francs. Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.43 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 0.44 Rwandan francs. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.28 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 0.289 Rwandan francs. Burundian franc buying price was 0.5 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 0.51 Rwandan francs. The US dollar buying price was 1,005 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,025 Rwandan francs. The British pound buying price was 1,341 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,368 Rwandan francs. The euro buying price was 1,120 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,143 Rwandan francs. Today's weather forecast from the Rwanda Meteorology Department. From 6 in the evening to midnight, rain is expected in Nyamasheke and Rusizi districts, Kigali City and the southern province. The rest of the country is expected to be mostly cloudy. The expected average wind speed is of between 3 meters per second and 4 meters per second. From midnight tonight until 6 in the morning, it is expected to be mostly cloudy in all parts of the country. The average wind speed expected is of between 3 meters per second and 4 meters per second. The minimum temperature is to be 11 degrees Celsius tomorrow morning in Nyabihu district. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition.